I met a car on my bike. That's why I look like I do right now. A distracted driver hit me. What does it take from an advocacy to actually get a change done on a road?
What future plans are there necessarily for signage, and how is that being implemented to educate drivers on how to share the roads with other travelers?
I don't want you to wait until somebody gets hit.
What I'm very curious about is we have such an interesting assortment of groups assembled here. What are your organizations doing to promote the importance of safe driving, especially with respect to making sure people are not drunk driving?
2025 was the first year the SLOCOG Safety Symposium was open to the public, with a continued goal of connecting people from different locations, disciplines, and backgrounds to develop strategies for making our streets safer for everyone.
In many cases, it takes a tragedy for us to take action. And that shouldn't be the way that we handle transportation planning.
There are researchers out there trying to identify risky areas on our roadways before crashes happen.
We've built a lot of new facilities over the last couple of years, you may have noticed, around town. And what we're focusing now on is just getting education out about how to use these new facilities and how to look out for your neighbor, the person who's next to you, maybe in the bike lane next to you.
All good projects come from great planning. The call then and answer to everyone is that if you see an invitation to participate in something, to develop a plan, a transportation plan, a corridor plan, a community plan, please do, because that's what feeds into projects.
So I just wanted to say, like you did your homework regarding contacting the county and submitting a request, you can also do that with other entities such as Caltrans and sometimes the city.
Tonight's forum is called The Last Call, Charting a Safer Course for Streets, Roads, and Paths in the County. It's focused on preventing impaired and distracted driving and the impacts that these behaviors have on our most vulnerable road users. Those are people walking, biking, and rolling through our community.
Something that has been impactful is if there's like a first round of like first offenders, or especially like younger kids, we're trying to take more of like a restorative justice point of view, and kind of trying to show them that they're they're the decision maker of how this moves forward, and how they got lucky because it was just property damage and it was not a life that was taken in that specific, in a specific case. But something that they share that is moving is when they do hear people that have lost a loved one and their specific stories and the specific details of how this happened to their family, and the families never expected it to happen.
So with Friday Night Live, I spoke a little bit about how we are teaching the students to make choices, not only with driving, but just in all areas of their life. But a huge part of that is addressing the comorbidities to drinking and driving, and that's why students are using substances. So are they using it to deal with stress and anxiety? Are they suffering from abuse or other forms of trauma at home? And while we do stand by the messaging that our bottom line is if you're under 21, it is illegal to be consuming alcohol. However, we're aware that students are still going out to parties and drinking. They're finding ways to become intoxicated. So we try to meet them where they're at by doing a lot of really fun and engaging prevention strategies.
So we're really wanting to look into like other primary prevention strategies instead of like saying like how can we just intervene. How about like why is it that someone drinks and drives repetitively, or like smokes and drives? We've been seeing a lot of other impairment as well, other than outside of alcohol.
I had a neat opportunity to attend the Lifesavers conference and understanding like, well, why is there no marijuana per se limit as there is in alcohol? And the dosage is so incredibly small, it's difficult to come up with a per se limit, because you also have tolerance mixed in there. So we have to go back to our field sobriety tests, which are the same ones that we still have found are accurate for alcohol. So from an enforcement standpoint, we still are using our sobriety tests, our roadside impairment detection to take those drivers off the road.
So the checkpoint, it's like Ron was saying, it's a high visibility thing. People always say, well, why are you telling people that we're having a checkpoint? Well, the point is that we want to deter people from driving under the influence, and that's why we're not afraid to publish that information.
This is really high caliber representation. Caltrans, Public Works, Cal Poly, MAD, OTS, the Highway Patrol, 805, Paso Robles Wine Alliance. This is really significant because all of us can influence traffic safety in our community, and it's this kind of collaboration which makes a difference.
The responsible beverage service training is required for anyone who pours. So whether you are a tasting room attendant at a winery, or you are a manager or an owner, if you are pouring, you have to take this training. We have tour operators as part of our alliance to make sure that we are encouraging people when they are coming to our website, pasowine.com, and they're checking out the wineries and planning their trips, that they're not just planning what wineries they're going to go to, but how they're going to get there and how they're going to get home safely as well.
People don't really intend to go out and become unsafe, but they find themselves at the end of an event or when it's time to go home at a place where maybe they shouldn't get behind the wheel. And unfortunately, a lot of the times, safety and lack of safety comes down to economics.
I own a company called Slow Safe Ride. We started here 15 years ago, and we initially had a great impact on drunk driving and things like that, but we have kind of grown into doing a whole slew of things. We're still operating 15 years later and love to be of service.
So all those drunk drivers are most likely distracted drivers now, and it is literally just as bad. And the victim over here earlier said that the person that hit him was distracted on their phone. And the threshold, a roadway lane is only 12 feet. And if you're distracted, it takes 1 foot over that white line and you've just changed somebody's life.
In addition to panel discussions, this year's forum hosted a resource fair to connect people and organizations working to make our streets safer. Another part of the event was a safety walk in Atascadero to audit the routes and hazards to students around the schools near downtown. The results of similar safety walks performed by Cal Poly students were also showcased at the forum.
We do these safety walks, so we go through the area, gather data beforehand of what's going on in the area with crashes and kind of incidents like that. And then we analyze it, things that stand out to us, stand out to the community, comments they've received in the past, and see it physically. You get a lot of emails. You want to get the physical aspect of it. So we go out there and we just kind of observe it. And we think to ourselves, okay, how can we fix this both short-term and long-term? And what are the options here? These lines are where we did the walks, and this is kind of the keynotes for the areas. Like this area had 2 vehicle crashes and 2 bike crashes. So we kind of know going into it, okay, let's look at the vehicle systems and the bike system setup. And then we do these recommendations on what short-term and long-term, what would best benefit the community and prevent these things from happening in the future. Because no matter if you're driving, walking, or biking, we just want safe infrastructure for all.